me and Keith were just talking about how our attitudes and perceptions on the world it almost feels like they impact what's actually happening in the world. And that when we are negative, when we are just looking for the bad things in life, we typically see the bad things. We typically see the bad things in people. And when we look for beauty and we look for the goodness in the world, that's when like we just see good stuff happening. We see the beauty in people and we start to understand and empathize with people. And we were just talking about this in regards to women and dating, and how if you have the attitude that lots of girls are bitchy, girls don't like this type of guy, all these different things about negative perceptions about girls, you'll tend to experience that. And if you start looking for the beauty in women, wow, these girls are so beautiful, they appreciate me how I am being myself, then you'll start to experience that, and how our perceptions and attitude almost acts as a filter to what actually is already there.
It's like looking into a mirror. Every time you look into a mirror, it's going to be a different mirror every single time, but you're going to still be looking at yourself. The idea is that there's not necessarily a concrete definition for reality out there. It's open to interpretation until we interject our ideas, our paradigms, or our thoughts of how things should be. So in relation to this, you're bringing yourself into every situation. So what you bring about is going to manifest in every situation, because the world is a mirror. Everywhere you look, it's going to reflect out what you see. So how do you see the world? What do you think about women? What do you think about the world? Are you looking for beauty? Are you looking for ugliness? Are you looking for hope and magic? Or are you looking for real? What's reality and practicality and all that other bullshit that we can sometimes get caught up with?
Yeah, it's very easy when I find myself when I'm in an insecure place. I just want to attack people and be negative, and then like the next step, like, what was I doing? And,
yeah,
it's part of human nature. But when I look at the beauty, I start to understand people, and I see all this magic and perfection in how nature and life works.
It's almost like you. The more you look for it, the more you're going to find it, and the more you're going to appreciate it. Like there's a rose. You grab this. I'm going to freestyle. So you have this rose that we just sat down. Someone was out here getting romantic, right? But the rose is all beat up. It's missing leaves and almost all of its petals. But you can still look. You can still see beauty in the rose. You can see the pollen that lines the top of what the hell they call the anthers or something like that. It's still beautiful, even though it's not mainstream beautiful, right? So if you can learn how to appreciate beauty in something as small and beat up as this, and then you take a real flower, or even a bouquet of flowers, or even flowers still on the bush where they're still alive and thriving, it's that much more. We think that beauty is about what you read in magazines and see in the movies, and not that that's not beauty, but it's not limited to that. If that's the only place you look to for magic and the wonderful things in life, then you're limiting yourself to so much. So you're limiting yourself to everything else that's out there. I like to almost imagine the world as if it was conscious and alive. And it's almost like saying thank you. Like it appreciates that you appreciate everything. And it shows you more. And the better you get at being grateful, sincerely grateful, and looking out for those little things, or the big things, they start to happen more and more frequently. More and more. I would love to tell you guys about a story recently, and I probably shouldn't. But I want to. Maybe we'll do it in a different video. Well, maybe. I don't know. Basically, it says thank you when you say thank you. And it says, is that all right? Is that what you like? Is that what you're thinking about? Is that what you choose to see? Well, shit, let me show you more. Let me show you more of these beautiful things. Let me put you in more situations where these incredible things happen, where magic happens, where you feel alive as a thank you for choosing to see that in the world.
In the book The Alabaster Girl by Zan Perion, Zan shares a story that beautifully illustrates this principle, which is that, let's say that a guy is traveling and he lands in a new city, and he leaves the airport and gets into a taxi cab. And as the taxi cab driver is taking this gentleman to his hotel, the dude asked the taxi cab driver, "How are the women in the city?" And the taxi driver responds, "I'm just curious, how are the women in the city that you came from?" And the guy says, "Oh, the women in my city, they're all bitchy. They only like guys who are really rich, and I could never meet a real girl in my city." And the taxi driver looks at him and he's like, "That's exactly how it is here. There's lots of bitchy girls. It's very hard to find a real girl here. Good luck." Meanwhile, take another guy who lands in the exact same city. He gets off his airplane, walks into a taxi cab driver, and he asks this other taxi cab driver, "Hey, how are the women here?" And he just has this very positive energy to him. He just has this positive attitude. And the taxi cab driver does the same thing. "Well, first, how about you tell me about the women in your city?" And this guy says, "Well, the women in my city, they're absolutely beautiful. There's just too many amazing women that I have a hard time. I have a hard time just keeping track of them all. I'm just having such a good time. They're all amazing. I'm just full of love all this time, and I just life is amazing." And just coming in with that energy, how do you think the taxi cab driver is going to respond? He's going to be like, "Well, welcome to our place. We have beautiful women here too. The women are amazing, and you're going to love it here." And that's how the world works. People mirror our energies. People mirror our perceptions. And it's almost like our perceptions create the beauty, because everything is there. You could say perhaps everything is neutral, but if we put our own interpretations on it, and when we're looking for beauty, we'll find beauty. When we're looking for ugliness, for darkness, that's what we'll see too. So once you're aware of this, you could start being like, I'm not going to be a victim to circumstances. I'm not going to be a victim to the outside world, but I'm going to choose what I see, and I'm going to let that see it's going to manifest. Because the real secret is once you start looking for beauty and you start experiencing it, you actually realize that beauty was there the whole time. That love, that magic, was there the whole time. You just weren't paying attention to it. You just weren't aware of it. You just weren't experiencing it. You weren't in the flow with it. But once you let go of that negativity, you let go of that judgment, and you start looking for beauty, you're looking for the goodness, not looking to project your insecurities and everything, and boom, the beauty just pops out at you, and it's beautiful. What this all comes down to is the power is in you. The power is in you. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's a crazy, magical world out there. I mean, given we were right here up against the goddamn beach in Santa Barbara, I get it, we get it. But shit, you could be here too if you wanted. I'm just saying. Welcome home.
Welcome home.